Hello, my lovelies. Welcome to M.A.D-PI. Right, just a little thing. You know about all these drones and everything that's going on, right? Now, there's been loads of talk about what it is and what it isn't, okay? There's loads of people worried. Loads of people, there's talk about people shooting up in the sky and all sorts of stuff. Obviously, you shouldn't be doing things like that. Now, I've come across this little clip that I think maybe you want to have a look at. It might be able to put your mind at ease. I'm hoping it will, okay? So, for all you guys across the pond, keep positive, yeah? God bless you.
Joining me now is the former Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense, Joseph Franciscan. He oversaw special operations and combating terrorism at the Pentagon. Deputy Chief of Staff, you're working in the drone space. It's fair to say you got a pretty good idea of what's going on up there.
I'd like to think so, Blake.
I'd like to think so.
Having me.
Thanks for being on. What's up there?
It's wild, right? Defense begins at home. This is absolutely a national security threat, and it's a shame that it's taken so long for the feds to get out in front of this and addressing it head on. It's not inconceivable to think that these drones could be used for more nefarious purposes than the possible surveillance that we're seeing in New Jersey today.
Right. Okay, so I'm gonna get there in a second, but yeah. The White House has basically said nothing to see here. This is hobbyist. This is regular usage. Others are wondering if this is the government behind it. And the government, the DoD, Defense Department, says no Defense Department assets. Do you believe do you believe that that's what this is right now?
I would say probably since these have been spotted, now going forward, it's probably been less of the government. And I'd ask you, which government? Is it us? Is it our adversaries? Things like that. When I was serving in the Defense Department, one of the biggest things that we heard from base commanders was addressing the drone threat. The unmet need was addressing this.
Okay.
Both from a surveillance, both from protecting of the people and the facilities. It's a critical threat that just has gone unmet.
So here's what was scratching my head. This was Pat Ryder at the podium the other day, and I'll get the Pentagon spokesperson. I'll get your reaction on the other side.
Sure.
Is it possible that some of those are surveilling? Absolutely. But can you make that assumption in every case? Not necessarily.
Okay, so that's the former building that you used to work in, and they're basically saying, yeah, there could be surveillance over our military sites. And I'm sitting here thinking, how is that acceptable?
It's a great question.
And how's there not policy to deal with it? Or maybe there is and we don't know, but just sitting back here, how's that acceptable?
The policy is the biggest issue that we have so far today. The FAA controls all airspace. As soon as something's off the ground, it's federal airspace. The policies allow the Defense Department to defeat drones that are directly above their military installations. That does nothing to be once these drones are a foot or 2 feet off the perimeter line. So it's really an overarching, comprehensive debate that needs to be addressed, both from the FAA side and then from also incorporating our state and local partners.
And so the radar systems, as you were explaining to me before, basically are for planes, not for drones, and that needs to be recalibrated.
Absolutely.
Or recalculated.
I think that's certainly part of this. So this is like the Chinese drone or Chinese balloon incident 2.0, where we have a really good job. We do a really good job of protecting our airspace, looking out from our borders, but we don't do a good job looking inside our borders. We certainly do on the approaches for aircraft and airports and things like that. But the ability to detect what is a drone, what is a bird, that's still something that eludes a lot of places.
Is it a plane?
How? We have an $800 billion budget. How?
We absolutely do. But it's a mathematical issue with looking at how these drones work and things like that. I was very encouraged by General Ryder speaking about the incorporation of the drone buster. It's a handheld device that can easily detect these things and move drones away from the areas. That's a great first step. Okay. The Army has hundreds of these, but why aren't we doing them more?
So explain that. How can you take a drone down without shooting it down?
Sure. So there's a lot of ways. You don't even actually have to kill every drone, if to use that phrase, in order to move it. You get it out of the way. You can actually move it. And so what you're doing is you're intercepting that signal in between the controller and the drone itself, and you're screaming louder. If you imagine it's a conversation between two of us, it's talking over it and moving it, giving it new coordinates to go fly somewhere else. You can do the same thing with satellite navigation that a lot of these drones depend on.
Among your worries is every Saturday or every Sunday in this country, you get hundreds of thousands of people in stadiums, right, watching their favorite football team wherever it is. And in Ukraine, you can put something on a drone, or, in the Middle East, wherever, something on a drone and bang, that's warfare. And you worry that we're not thinking about the God forbid of someone putting something on a drone here and sending it into a mass crowd event.
Absolutely. That was a major fear for us when we were running the...
Can I just say, things like that shouldn't happen, and, it shouldn't even no disrespect to the people, they're just talking, you know, and it's an interview with each other, but like, you shouldn't put that out there, you know. You know what I mean? You shouldn't put them sort of words together in a sentence and put them out there, because you know you're gonna have some sick individual or individuals that will do something like that. God forbid. God forbid. Bloody hell, man. It's fucking bits. It's all getting a bit fucking too much, isn't it? Who are we?
Counterterrorism efforts was how do we think like the terrorists think? And it's very easy to take a commercial technology like drones are today, which have advanced rapidly in the last few years, and apply something like a $5 or a very cheap 5-pound grenade or something like that to it, and fly over an SEC game, for example, or the Big Ten, and cause mass panic, hysteria, and casualties. It shouldn't take that. And in the same effect, it shouldn't take a drone collision with an airplane for the FAA to get serious. When we talk to them, we hear the phrase blood on the tarmac, and that's a very fatalistic approach.
Blood on the tarmac,
they say blood. It's going to take blood on the tarmac for the Congress to get serious about this.
So that was my next question, because why should anyone believe that they're going to be the ones to do it?
Sure, I agree.
So then if they can't, how does this get figured out? Because this is, if anything has been exposed, if you take the Pentagon and the White House at face value, it's why on earth did we need to surge resources for
That's a plane.
Doug in Hoboken flying a drone?
Right. It's a great question. I think right now we're limited where there's only certain 4 agencies, federal agencies, that have the authority to do counter-drone. What I'd love to see, and I think there's bills that you alluded to in the opening here, where both the Senate and the House have approved bills from their respective Homeland Security commissions that would incorporate our state, local, tribal, and territorial authorities to help address the drone threat. We also have the National Guard, who can use DoD authorities today. They can use those drone busters and be on the perimeter line to detect these and push these bad drones away from whether it's sporting events or airfields or even the critical sites that we're seeing them overfly right now.
Thank you for watching, and make sure you go to joinnn.com to find.
Well, I mean, bloody hell, you know, as I say, you know, you shouldn't put things out there in the air if, you know, like, especially when there's millions of people watching, because, you know, it can turn sour, can't it, as we all know. So what do you think anyway? Let me know what you think if you could. Like and subscribe if you haven't already, if you don't mind. Well, that's if you want to do it, you don't have to, but I would appreciate it if you can. Yeah, so hopefully everything like this, all this drone stuff, what's going on, hopefully it'll all be sorted out and it will just ease people's minds. I'm just talking about people that are worried for their own safety, you know. It's I spoke about a guy a couple of days ago, or last week when it was in America. He shot one down, but it was from Walmart. Ended up with a $5,000 fine, you know. So just be careful. You've got to take care of what you're doing, right? Look after each other, and I will see you again soon, hopefully. All right, love you loads, and have a great Christmas. God bless.